What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to the shop, and today we're going to be working on a lawnmower. Well, you know, the weather's nice now, so grass is starting to grow. People need their lawnmowers. So this particular mower apparently does not want to start. So I'm going to do my regular check to see what I can find before I get into too far and find out what's actually wrong with it. Sometimes it can be really easy. First thing I like to check, is there any oil in the engine? Well, it's pretty dark, that's for sure. So let's see if we can wipe it clean, put it back down in there, and take a good measurement. Well, we do have some oil. Let me get closer to the camera here, but it's on the low side, and as you can tell, it's pretty dark. So once I do get this running, it's going to need an oil change. And then, of course, from there, I'd like to check to make sure there's actual gas in here. Now, unlike a chainsaw or something like that, it's easily handled. I like to always take a fuel sample to see if the water, or I'm going to start all over back on that one. On a larger unit like this, it's a little bit difficult to take a fuel sample, which I do regularly on smaller engines like chainsaws and stuff like that. But in this instance, I do have some good fuel level. I don't know if there is any water in there. I might remove the bottom hose here, take a little bit of a sample if I can't seem to get anything going here. Then those are your two main checks. From there, I'm going to give it a couple of pulls to see what happens. And I noticed here as well, the lever's been locked out. I don't like when people do this. It's just kind of a safety thing for me, because this is what stops the engine. So you have to undo all of this to allow the engine to stop. So, I mean, how do you undo this every time? I don't know. Put that over here. But this is, yeah, like I said, it's kind of a safety thing to me, because if you had to stop this in an instant. This is supposed to bring it back. The spring is a little bit weak, probably because it's been, you know, stretched for a long time. Something we can probably work with, but let's give it a couple pulls, see if we can get it to go here. Well, it wants to. You can hear it kind of kick. I don't know, you guys hear that? Oh, and then it's not. I'm going to do a bit of a cheat here, so I'm going to flip it over on this side so you can see what I'm doing. I'm going to remove the air filter and add a little bit of cheater fluid in the carburetor. Oh boy. Okay, so this could be one of the reasons. The air filter could be restricting all the airflow. So let's, before we go too far and start putting in some, this is just parts cleaner. Anything flammable would work, really. But let's just give it a couple of pulls to see if it'll go without any of that fancy juice. Oh, you can hear it more now. But it almost seems off. Something's not quite right. Let's give it a spray. Nothing's too significant here. See what happens. A couple of pulls. And nothing at all. Makes it almost even worse. Alright, so from here, I'm going to see if there's any spark. I'm going to say there already is, based on the fact that it's kicking a little bit, but let's get the spark tester, check for spark. Okay, with the spark tester connected, I got it zoomed in so you guys can see what's going on. I actually can't see it from this angle, so I'm going to pull it a couple times, review the footage, and go from there. Let's hope. Well, what do you guys see? Was there anything there? After reviewing the footage, yeah, in fact, there was some pretty good sparks. So next logical step, let's remove the spark plug and install a good known spark plug to see if that makes any change. Well, as you can see here, this plug is it's quite wet. It's not nice at all. So I'm hoping, I'm going to bring you closer to the plug here. But this is what it looks like. That's just grass from around the cylinder that I picked up on the way out. But it's not a great looking plug. So let's hope that that's all it is. And there you go. And if you guys are ever unsure about the torque, it's written right on the back of the box, so you can follow those directions. Let's put the cover, or sorry, the cap back on. Move all this stuff away and see if we have any luck. All right, here goes nothing. Well, that looks good. It's also very smoky. So before I get it running for too long, I think I should probably open the door and turn on my fan for a little bit so that we can breathe in here. There we go. Got the big old exhaust fan going. Now, let's see if it'll continue to run. Not bad at all. As you can tell, it's got a bit of smoke going on, but I think that's because the cylinder has been flooded. It does smell like oil because I also think that that oil is too thin to do the job. So between those two things, that's going to correct itself. I'm going to change the oil once we run it. But there is a bit of a vibration. So on one of these engines or any of these snow, I wanted to say snowblower because that's what I've been doing for the last little bit. I also like to make sure that the blades are sharp and balanced on any of these lawnmowers. So let's take a quick look underneath here. And when you do that, it's always a good idea to make sure that the spark plug is disconnected, because now we know it runs. And I don't want to inadvertently spin this and have it start on me. So, oh yeah, okay. I'm going to bring you in closer here. But that completely makes sense as to why it's vibrating, because the blade is bent. Alright, so take a look at this. Might be hard to see in the camera, but if I rotate this one, you can tell this side here is sticking down below the deck. If I rotate it around, this one is in the deck. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to pull the blade, give it a, maybe I'll see if I can straighten it out. If not, I highly recommend that if they ever get bent, just replace them. They're not very expensive, and these things spin super fast. So let's see what I can do. All right, so now that I've got the blade off and I have it in the vise. Oh, in the vise. If you guys have been watching my channel for a little bit, this vise has been held hostage by it was a Mercury 3.9 horse, 1967. It spent 2 years in this vise, and I just finally had to abandon that project, and I feel bad about it. But anyways, parts were no longer available, and yeah, it was a learning experience there. But anyway, now that it's in the vise, I'm just going to take a pipe wrench here, and I'm going to give it a quick little tweak. It's really not all that bad. Again, I always recommend buying a new blade if it ever bends, but in this case, as you can tell, they're very thin, so they don't need all that much. Like, they spring right back. They're made of spring steel so that they can take the abuse of being, you know, going through rocks and stuff like that. They're not supposed to. So I'm going to straighten it out as best as I can based off the other side. And after that, I'm going to give it a quick grind. And I like to grind, as you can see there, my vise spun a little bit, but that's okay. I like to grind. Everybody's got their own method. I use an angle grinder, and I'll do 1 or 2 passes straight down the tip of the blade this way, and that kind of sets your angle, because you want the tip of the blade here to wear down quicker than the root, because that's how you're going to maintain a good strong blade. In the event that this happens again, it won't break. You're not giving any stress relief at any point in the blade. Once this is done, then I will go to, well, I'm going to try and follow the angle that's already there, whatever that might be. So after it's all balanced, or sorry, after it's grinded on both sides, I have, you can get these anywhere. I'll see if I can find an Amazon link or something like that. This is a blade balancer. I'll set it on the vise here, and I will just make sure that the blade is balanced evenly so that it doesn't cause any vibration. So let's just give it a quick grind, and always wear safety protection. Okay, now that both sides are nice and sharp, being careful not to cut myself, I'm going to set my, actually, so you guys can, hopefully you guys can see that. You should be able to see that. I'm going to set my blade onto the balancer and just take a look at which side is heavier. So this one has, it's not a round hole, which is a little bit awkward on these balancers. So you gotta find the right spot for it. And as you can tell, this side is much heavier. So I gotta do a little bit more work on this side until everything lands perfectly. And just like this, now the blade is perfectly balanced on both sides. What I'm going to do now is I like to add just a bit of a lick of paint on both sides so that any of the shiny, sharp edge doesn't start to rust, stays sharper longer. Then bolt it back up, get ourselves a new air filter, see if it runs cutting grass. Just a quick note, guys, on reinstalling the blade too. Make sure that you put the flat side, like the flat side, like the bottom side of the blade facing the grass. So the edge would be on the top, flat side down. Okay, now with the blade reattached, all nice and torqued up, all sharp and balanced, let's see what it's like. See if it stops shaking. Much better. Now that that's done, we've got that oil warmed up a little bit, so we're gonna do an oil change, and I'm gonna cheat and I'm gonna use my little oil sucker because I don't like to make a mess. On these particular ones, there is a drain plug right over here, and it's supposed to run down the side of the cutting deck and then get collected underneath with a little hole. I'm just gonna, like I said, I'm going to suck it right out from the bottom, and makes it nice and clean. So these things here, I mean, they're pretty awesome, and as you can tell, there wasn't lots of oil in there. I'm going to put a couple of blocks under the wheels so that I can make it, don't make a mess. So that I can make everything kind of slosh over to that side and get all the oil out. But these engines don't hold that much oil. So, see what we got. And doing it this way, granted, you're not going to get every single drop out of the engine, but you're going to get the majority of it. All right, so that's all emptied, and as you can see right over here, it's very clear and bold. We're going to add some 10W30. It takes about 1.5 liters, I think, but I'm going to check it periodically, then give it another try. Here we have a little bit of Castrol GTX, made in Canada apparently. 10W30, and I'm just going to kind of eyeball this, and I'm going to check it, like I said, periodically to make sure that I don't overdo it. Well, as you can see right now, I am overdoing it because it doesn't have much of a spout, so it makes a mess pretty quickly. Which is typical of me doing any oil change on any of my videos. And there you go, right where I need it to be. So that's perfect. Now, again, put this cover back on, and this unit is now good to go. Oh, sorry, actually it's not. After a new air filter, it would be good to go. All right, so now we got some oil in here. There's one more thing that I forgot to do, and that's to make sure that the drive actually works on this. And this is a pretty cool system. On these ones here, the more you press, the more you get drive. So they're going to fire it up. I'm going to pick up the wheels to show you guys if it works or not, and then we'll go from there. And there you go. Works as intended. It still has the old dirty air filter, which is why it smokes a little bit, so we're going to have to replace that. Going to make a run to the store for that. But that's going to be the end of the video because, well, this thing is doing what it should. Blade's sharp and balanced now, so it doesn't shake. Fires up first pull. Drive works. Fresh oil change. There's really not a whole bunch you can do on these machines, so that's going to be pretty much it. But there's always a tip of the day. If you guys have been sticking around to the end of the video, thank you so much for doing so. And today's tip is going to be, well, start with the basics. Don't go too far into it. Don't start pulling carburetors and, getting into all these little intricacies, and, time is money. So start with the basics. Make sure you've got gas in the tank, number one. Good quality oil in the engine to make sure it lasts. And also spark. I mean, with these three items, you should have a good running lawnmower. So anyways, thanks again for watching, guys. Really appreciate it if you guys stuck to the end. If you liked the video, give me a thumbs up, and I'll catch you all in the next one. See you next time.